All right, tonight we're going to be making some table legs that hopefully come out looking like this. This was my test, and actually I tested it out on a piece of pine first, just to get the concept down. So basically what we're doing is we're taking a square piece of lumber and we're going to turn it into this shape here with no waste. So this actually, I learned this from watching Workshop Companion. So if you haven't seen him on YouTube, you really got to check him out. Does some amazing stuff. So I have an end table and probably some other things that I'll be using these legs for. But hopefully these will turn out. I've got 4 of these blanks that I'm going to be turning into legs, and we'll see how it goes. Now, in order to do this, there's a certain method where I'm going to take this, I'm going to draw a pattern on it here. So then I'm going to cut that out, cut this basically in half on the bandsaw. Then I'm going to tape those 2 halves together, flip it, draw the pattern again, and then cut that out. So I'll tape the 2 halves together. And then once those are cut, then I will be, you put a number in the corner, and you take those apart, and then put them back together with the numbers in the middle, like you can see my diagram back here. And so that's how you take this into this. So you can definitely see the cut lines right here along there. So, all right, so I'm just going to mark out my pattern here. And for this end right here, it's going to be straight, because this is actually going to go up into the end table that I'm going to be making. So we'll just kind of hold it on here. When I cut it with the bandsaw, it's not going to be exact. So getting it marked in the exact right spot isn't absolutely necessary. I mean, I want the legs to be as close as possible, but they're not really going to turn out the same. Okay, so I got my line here. And if you're just joining my channel, thank you very much. This is the first time I've been live, so I was just gonna do these legs tonight, and figured it might be a good opportunity for people to see woodworking live instead of recorded, sped up, and all that stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Put a message in the chat if you want. Ask me any questions that you have, and we'll get started. You might have to turn your volume down just a little while I start up the bandsaw, but I'll let you take care of that. So this wood pinching right here. So I'm gonna just kind of split this a little bit, see if I can kind of work this off. Then what I'll do is just flip it around to the other side. Probably should have flipped it around the other side when I got somewhere in here, so it did not pinch that blade. All right. All right. So you can see the didn't meet up quite perfect there, but we'll take care of that. So now what I need to do is tape these together and see what's going on here. Let's see. Let me check the all right. So now I'm just gonna tape these together. And if you're just joining, I'm working on some table legs here out of walnut. And what I want to end up with is this kind of designer leg. So taking one single square piece, and I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces, kind of like you see back here. Cut it, flip it, cut it again, take the 4 pieces, glue those together, and then basically turn them inside out to get this shape right here. Now I probably will have to turn on the vacuum. It's just going to get too dusty in here with all this cutting, which is pretty noisy. So you might have to turn down your volume there when I get that going. I usually have it running all the time, but you just never really know exactly how much dust you're creating until you don't run it. Okay. Try to get that smooth. Okay. So we got that going. All right. Now I'm going to take the same pattern that I used before and draw it out. And the trick to doing this really is making sure that your wood is exactly square. Okay, that's a pretty good line. So I just milled these out of this size of lumber here. So I just cut these out, flipped them on the table saw, and then cut each side in order to get it perfectly square. All right, so now I am going to run the vacuum this time. That's just too much dust. So sorry about the noise, but that is woodworking. Let's start with the straight end first. Okay. So now you can see what I have essentially here is 4 squares. And what I'm going to do is take these 4 pieces and using my visual aid back there, I'm just going to number the outside corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I put these back together, they're going to be in the middle here. So sometimes it does take my brain just a minute once I take these apart to get them back together. Sometimes flipping things inside my head is actually really difficult. I have a hard time visualizing how to flip things in my head. Okay. Almost there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is turn this 90. Turn this 90. And I'm going to flip flop. So this one goes here. And this one goes here. So there's my 2D shape, basically. the flat side. The flat side will be glued together. So looking at our numbers here, we're going to take this and let's see, flip these over. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So there's our wonky table leg. And the cool thing about this is that this leg, it looked way worse than this one when it came out. So what I'll do is I'll end up gluing these two halves together first, and then at the same time these two halves together. So once that glue is dried, then I will take this and I'll actually run it on my joiner so that this is perfectly flat on this side. This side's perfectly flat here. And then I will glue these together back to back. And then once that's done, I actually just take to the sander and just sand it smooth everywhere. So that's how that's gonna work. All right, let's tape these back together so I'm gonna be cutting several of these, so I don't wanna get parts mixed and matched. That would definitely not be good. So we'll just tape this together here. Okay, so that's one leg. That's at least the cutting on that is done. All right. So that was one. Now I've got 3 more to go. So get this started with my template here. Okay, so that is the line that I'm going to attempt to cut on. Let me just see if there's anybody else in here. No, they all left. Okay. I mean, you can only watch live woodworking probably for so long. A lot of live woodworking is super repetitive. That's why when you watch woodworking videos, you always see the woodworking sped up, or you see lots of cuts in what's going on, because it does take lots of time. It's repetitive, takes lots of time. All right. Let's see. All right. If you just happen to be joining on the live broadcast, what I'm doing is I'm taking a square piece of walnut that I just cut yesterday, and I'm going to turn it into this wonky leg here for a table leg. So this is a no waste table leg way to do this. So if you haven't seen Workshop Companion, this is really where I learned this technique from. And I'm actually just doing it kind of for the first time yesterday. I tested it out on some pine before I actually moved to walnut. So what I got to do is I have to cut this piece along this line essentially in half. Then I'm going to tape it together, flip it, cut the same pattern this way. That's going to give me 4 pieces. And then once I do that, I will put those 4 pieces, I will flip-flop them, put them back from front to back, put all the flat pieces together, and then that will give me the nice wonky table leg. All right, let's see. So when I start the saw, it's going to be pretty noisy, so you might have to turn your volume down, but that's woodworking. All right, so got my 2 halves here. So I'll get those. Cut that down for a second. So I'll get these 2 halves taped up here. Then I'm going to redraw that pattern and flip this. By the way, thanks for hanging out with me. Just kind of in here. This is really my first live demo that I've done. I think doing these table legs is pretty interesting. They just come out looking really, really cool. And I literally just learned how to do this a couple of days ago. It's not super hard necessarily. You just have to be pretty methodical when you do it. So number one, you get the pieces cut right, and then you get the pieces put back together right. Okay. So just going to draw this pattern again. Wrong side. Okay. And let's see. Okay. There we go. Really got to take your time and pay attention to how you do this. Okay, so we're gonna get that lined up as best as possible. My cat's coming into the shop. Okay, so I'm going to cut this line, and then we'll have our 4 pieces. So I'm going to start this, start the vacuum back up and start the saw. All right, so we got our four pieces here. So in case you're wondering, if you've never used a bandsaw before, it's actually one of the safest saws that I would say you could use. Most everything on it's moving pretty slow, so as long as you don't get your finger pushed directly into that blade, the bandsaw is going to be one of the safest saws that you can use. I'm actually using a 1/2-inch blade, so you can't get too fancy with the design here. So I've got a pretty simple one here. Now, if I had a smaller blade, hey kitty cat, if I had a smaller blade, I could actually do some different designs there. But okay, so now let's flip this over to my square side. Okay, so I started this off straight here because this is the straight square area that's actually going to go, my tabletop will sit right here, and this area is going to go up into the tabletop. Okay, so once we get our four pieces here, so kind of like if you can see the diagram back there, basically we're going to put 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the corners. And when we take this thing apart and put it back together, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 in the center, if you've done it correctly. And this technique came from the Workshop Companion. So if you haven't seen his videos, definitely be sure to check those out. He does absolutely amazing stuff. I am much more of a beginner compared to him. Okay. Take the tape off here real quick. Okay. Ooh. All right. So I'm going to take this. Take this off here. And I'm going to swap. Okay, so I'm going to put 1 and 2 together here. And 3, 4. Oh, that's 4, not 2, 1. Okay. 1 and 2 there. Okay, so there's 1/2 with the flat back. And now we'll take 3. And 4. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 all there in the center. That is not right. What the hell happened there? Okay. Oh yeah, no, let's see. So those two are right. It's these two that are wrong. Okay. Sometimes I definitely, oh, there we go. That looks right. Yeah, 3 to 4 right there. 2. Okay, I knew it would come together. But, so there is our wonky table leg. That's going to look like this one when it's all glued up. What I'll do is glue these two pieces together, glue these two pieces together, run them across the jointer to get a nice flat surface. Glue them back together. And then from there, once I have them all glued into a solid piece, then I'll take them to the sander and sand out all the cracks. I think that one turned out really nice. So you can see the seam really because of the change of the color in wood here, but on this one, it's really hard to see the seam. You have to look really close to see it on this one. But I think that adds some real character to this piece. Now, this piece right here, I just finished half of it just for the demo. And then here's the other half without any finish on it. Had a couple of knot holes on this piece, so I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to use this one or not, but it was the piece that was in the worst shape before I started, so I used that as my practice piece. Okay, I'm going to tape these back together. I do not want these to get separated because I've got 3 other legs to all do at the same time. If for any reason you check out any more of my other videos, you will see that I love wasting masking tape. Let's get these grouped together here. All right, 2 legs down. I've got 2 more to go. Now this piece of wood had some splits in it, so which when I make the leg is going to be towards the inside, so that may not be a problem, but when I cut this thing, this wood may just end up breaking off. So that's why I made some extra legs. All right. All right, so I'm drawing this pattern. And I'll use the same pattern on both sides. I think I can see that well enough. So I might be cutting outside of this line, these cracks just enough so that it's not a big deal, but we'll see. All right, gonna start the vacuum and the saw. It's getting pinched there. So I'm just going to back it on out here and do it from the other side. Okay, so one of the reasons that I'm doing the straight side first is that I made these extra long so that I can cut off the bottoms. So that's why I'm not too worried about messing up there. But also this part right here, we're gonna put that on the sander and that'll just come right out once we do it. Now this piece of wood does have some soft spots in here. So I might end up cleaning those out. That might make for some pretty cool character on these legs. Okay, so I'm gonna put these back together. All right. Check my mic here. Yep, still got juice. All right. Okay, so once again, gonna tape these. And if you happen to be watching this and you're wondering what project table these are going to go to, be sure to check out, I'll have a new video out sometime in the next couple of weeks for the finished project on this. These are going to be an end table, a pretty special one, if you ask me. Okay, so I'll get these two pieces taped together. All right, so that's not pretty. Probably cut on that side. Yeah, we'll cut on that side. All right. So if you're just joining, what I'm doing is I'm taking a square piece of wood and I'm going to be turning it into a kind of wavy, wonky table leg. This is a no waste table leg. So the way we're going to do this is I just cut this in basically in half along that line there. And then we're going to flip it and cut it in half again. And then we're going to take those pieces apart and put them back together in a certain way that creates that weird wonky design. So this is my template here. And I use this design on both sides, both cuts. Okay. And exactly where I put the, like, if it moves a little, it's okay. I want these legs to be fairly close when I put them on the end table, but if they're just a little bit off, they're just kind of wonky enough anyway to not really matter. So let's make sure I got this where I can see it good. Okay. And when I go to cut this, I'm going to cut the straight part first. This is the part that will actually go up inside of the tabletop. And then this bottom part will be probably kind of cut off. These are, I think, maybe 2 inches too tall. So when I start the vacuum and the bandsaw, it's going to get a little noisy. So may have to adjust your volume. Yeah, that last little curve there seems to pinch quite a bit. So we're just going to back this out, and then I'll finish it from the other side. All right. Oh, yeah. This piece of wood actually had kind of a little knot hole right there. May have been a little bit of the issue, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is, now that I have my 4 pieces, I'm going to number these 1, 2, 3, 4. On the outside corners, take the tape off, And then we'll flip these and put them back together, giving us hopefully the shape that we're looking for. By the way, if you happen to be new to the channel, thanks for joining in. This is actually the first time I'm live doing a demo. Okay, so I'm going to rotate this 90. I'm going to take this, put it on this side. Let's see here. There we go. Let's see what we got. 3 and 4. 3 and 4. And then actually need 2 looks good. And 1. Nope. Let's see here. I think I got these backwards. It always takes me a second to take a look at it, figure it out. Those fit together good. So on any one of these, you actually have 2 sides. Let's see here. There we go. All right. Now we got it. There we go. Okay. So there's our weird wonky table leg that's going to come out looking like this. I'll end up gluing these 2 halves together, gluing these 2 halves together, flattening them on the joiner, then gluing both of these together like this. And then from there, I will actually take it to the sander to shape it, get rid of all this stuff here where that got messed up a little bit. Not sure what's gonna, like we got this soft stuff in here. I might gonna have to dig that out, I guess, but we'll shape it. Shape it on the, I could shape it with my grinding disc if it was too extreme, but we'll try to just shape it on the sander. That'll be for another day. Okay, so I've got, this is the 3rd one that I've done, so I got to make sure that I keep it grouped together. And I've got 1 more to do. Okay, all right. So I'm taking a square piece of wood here, and I'm going to turn it into a wonky table leg. In order to do that, I need to draw a pattern. And cut the board in half. Do the same pattern, flip it, cut the same pattern, cut it in half again, take apart the legs, and reassemble. Take apart the pieces and reassemble them into a leg. All right. I'm going to cut the straight part first. This last little curve has been binding up just a little, but all right, let's start the vacuum. That's hot. Okay. Uh, just a little there. All right. Push a little hard on that one. Okay. Get these back together here. Okay. All right. So try to get this as tight as possible here. Ooh. Okay. I think I'm actually going to put one in the middle here. Okay, so I got that one cut in half. I'll mark this side. All right. All right, this is my last leg that I'm cutting for the night. So I'll get these glued up and we'll get them glued up tomorrow. As I said, when I trace this pattern, just because I draw it on here doesn't mean I can cut it perfectly. So the pattern doesn't have to be super perfect. So if it moves a little, that's okay. Okay, I'm going to start the vacuum. There. Just wanting to pinch there at the end, so I have to back this off, go in. Ooh. And I'm actually going to have to re-tape this. Almost got it right there. 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 That one got a little pinchy right there at the end. There's just a tiny little piece connected there, so. All right. What I'll do is I'll think about that, see how much I really want to, if I want to just pull it apart or try something else. I really don't want to put it back on the saw because it's going to take a different pattern there. Probably really mess it up. All right, so that is it. Thanks for joining. And if you enjoyed any part of this, I would appreciate, subscription if you want to see more. At least throw a like on it. Have you seen woodworking like this where he's doing wonky legs? Feel free to put that in the comments and let me know if you've seen that or not. By the way, once again, I want to thank the Workshop Companion. That's where I learned this technique. And thanks again for, dropping all that knowledge on us. I appreciate it. All right. Stay tuned. Come back to my channel. If you want to see what these legs go to, that video will hopefully be dropping here in about 2 weeks or so. I think it's going to be something that's super unique. So come back for that.